You know, Linfield's this little place in McMinnville, and you go there and you think you're going to McMinnville, but you end up going all over the world. You know, what I really wanted to do was be a professional baseball player, go play for the San Francisco Giants. I probably should have signed that contract after my junior year, but if I did, I probably wouldn't have never met my wife, never got into teaching, never traveled and done some of these other things. And I think really what was going on in school was that I was pretty focused on baseball. That's why I went to the college. But by the time I'd arrived there, I started meeting all these amazing professors. You know, Dave Gilbert, who's excellent at writing and made us actually be like copy editors. And we had to go through and hack our way through all the writing and learn about communication. And the other thing he taught us was public relations, about trying to go out and reach out to the community and how you try to create a perception for your business or those types of things. And I think between Buckingham and Tom Love, they started making me think about the world a little bit more than just my little comfort zone, whether it be McMinnville or Portland. And my mother was really instrumental in calling Carnahan and telling him, you know what, this guy thinks his whole life's about GPA and his girlfriend, and he's way too focused on those things, and he needs to travel the world. And she called Coach Carnahan up on the phone and said, I want him to go and study abroad, even though I know there's rules against that. And he said, well, there are some rules, but he's going to have to work out over in Nottingham and join a team, but I'll let him go. And there's a lot of colleges where that would not happen. You know, there's a lot of schools where baseball or the sport takes precedence, but you know, at Linfield, you guys both know this, the athletics are only a portion of the whole person, and academics are always prioritized. And because Carnahan wanted me to play a sport, I had choices to go out for the soccer team, the rugby team, or the basketball team. And at that point, I thought, you know what, I'm going to play basketball because I'm not very fast, and I can't keep running up and down the soccer field. And I went out for the basketball team, played for them. It was a great experience. I was a captain on the team because most people couldn't make lay-ins because they were growing up playing rugby in England. And that's when I was able to travel to Spain and then into North Africa. Because of those experiences, I started thinking, how can I open people's minds up to the world? I was accepted into 2 law schools, and I initially went down and met people at Willamette at the law school there, but just thought, you know what? This is so confining, and I really don't want to wear a tie. And how am I going to teach people about the world if I'm, you know, going to be interpreting all these laws? It'll be just too confining. I won't be able to use my travels to incorporate that. And so it was at that point in time I knew that I wanted to teach in some way or help other people or expand their horizons. And that's what led me eventually to say, you know what, I'm not going to go to law school. I'm going to go enroll at Lewis and Clark and get a master's. Dave Gasser, who was the all-time winningest baseball coach in the state of Oregon, was the coach at Madison. We'd get up at practice at 4 o'clock in the morning. He was an excellent teacher. He valued it. And he ended up leaving after I left Madison. He went to Lake Ridge. So he was already at Lake Ridge. And I went back to student teach with him because I knew he's an amazing teacher. And he just didn't care about sports, but he cared about building the whole person. And I actively sought him out as a mentor. And that's why I went to Lake Ridge, because he was a mentor teacher there. I just, after a couple years, started thinking, my Spanish isn't getting any better here. I don't have the Latino students to work with here. And I called Tom Love and said, hey, this is what I'm thinking, you know. I mean, I've learned all this stuff from you in college, and I want to be involved more in Latin America. And I don't think it's going to happen here in Lake Oswego. I don't think I'm going to expand my global horizons. I don't think I'm going to be able to use all the stuff I've learned. And he's like, you got to go to Peru with me. No question about it. And I thought, well, do I need to go to Peru with this guy? So I went with him. We were down there for a couple months. I came back. I went back there again for several more months that year. I mean, I was down there most of the year. And I'm going to tell you, I would have stayed there and lived there and helped people go to Machu Picchu and teach them about culture. But one of my best friends was getting married back east, and I was in his wedding, and I had to come back to the United States. And then as soon as I came back, I realized, you know what, I'm going to go find a school that has a Latino population. I looked at McMinnville. The only reason I didn't go to McMinnville is my grandparents were at the end of their life, and they're really influential in my life, and I wanted to live close to them. And so Gresham High School, I saw in this graph, had a big rising Latino population. and I could live next to my grandparents and be close to them at the end of their life. I was a part of the finding of the IB program. There was Tom Urbanowitz, Amanda Weber-Welch, and myself. We all felt like, you know what, if we could have a college prep program here, we could start getting first-generation college students that have never been to school before and break through the gap in our community. We're so diverse, but we got to build it, and that would be one way to build it. It's an incredible college program for teachers, and even though a lot of people shy away from it because you don't get any extra money for it, the intellectual stimulation like you guys saw in here today, and the incredible kids you meet, like the kids in here and the kids we've had for years here that come back to visit, and they go to college and go, you know what, college is easier than this. We can do good in school because we were taking 6 IB classes here, so we really felt like it would have several different benefits to the school. Oh, they teach me so much. I'm kind of a dinosaur. You know, I do not have a cell phone. It shocks people when these different politicians have asked me to go speak to places this year, and I've gone to speaking engagements. They ask me, what's your Facebook, what's your Twitter, and what's your cell phone? And there's this short silence on the phone, and I tell them, you just tell me where I need to be and I'll be there. The only reason I don't have a cell phone is because I've taken 1,919 of them the last 10 years. And this is after I've even made a Modern World deal and said, look, you guys have a minute to text your brains out at the beginning of class, and after that, you know, Gandhi didn't go on the Salt March so a hip-hop song could go off, and neither did Martin Luther King Jr. That's a great question. The most important thing I could teach my students, I think, is to chase their passion. You know, find something that they love in their life and to go after that, and to do everything that they can to make sure that they can put those things in place, and then thank the people that helped them along the way.